Good morning, everyone. I'm the Reverend Jude Denning, and it is my pleasure to be here with you on the first Sunday of the new year. Welcome, welcome. Happy, hopeful new year to you and yours. I'd like you to know that Unity of Stewart is a welcoming, affirming, positive path of spirituality, and all are welcome here, no exceptions. And I want to say good morning to those who are on Facebook right now, and that is Joe and Sandy and Wendy and Lisa and Ricky and Kathy and Judy and Suzanne, so far the ones I'm seeing on Facebook. So welcome you all. And I have a feeling that Nancy is watching on YouTube. And if you're watching on YouTube, comment there. So next week I can say hi to you too, if you watch regularly from YouTube. I want to tell you that our musicians today are Don Rao, Donna Roselli, Chuck Chase, and Doreen Pariba, with Doreen on special music today. So, as we do every Sunday, I'd like to share some announcements with you, and I'm going to do that here. And that, what you're seeing now is the slide that I bring up to show you all the links that are pertinent to what I'm speaking about as far as announcements go. And our first announcement is that we have prayer chaplains that are still very busy with prayer, doing that good service work. And they are holding you in prayer and holding our ministry in prayer. And if you'd like prayer support from our prayer chaplains, we invite you to email that prayer line, prayer@unityofstewart.org. You can also call Silent Unity's 24-hour prayer line if you would like some prayer with a prayer associate at Unity Village. And you can see that phone number up there, and you can pray with them. They're open 24/7. Of course, everything I'm announcing this morning can be found in our newsletter and on our website page under upcoming events. And okay, so let's do this piece right now. Every Monday afternoon at 4 p.m., you can join Reiki Master Cheryl Roby for our distance meditation via Zoom. And if you desire to enter into the new year with a renewed sense of calm, of balance, of centeredness, I invite you to join Cheryl and she leads that meditation every Monday at 4 o'clock. And you can see that Zoom password there. All right. Let's see. Bringing up another slide for you in a second. So I'm very excited to begin the new year with this series that I'll start today, based on the book by Valerie Kaur, Seeing No Stranger. And here's the book. You can see that cover, but here's the actual book. And so the first part of that is today. And notice that I'm not telling you how long that series is going to be, because the book is packed. And so we'll see as we go along how many weeks we'll need for the series. But today is part one. And you can also join me for a book study group, two, that start this Thursday. That's, I think, the 7th. And the 7th or the 8th, I don't remember, but it's this Thursday. You can register for that is the 7th. You can register for a 12:30 group or a 6 p.m. group. Again, you can see that link on our website under upcoming events to register for that class. Once you register, I'll send you the first week's discussion topics, and you'll see where you need to read to. So come and join us for that. I'm really excited about this book. It's been moving through the Unity movement with love and with joy. So we're going to explore that together. And finally, today, hold on. There we go. And finally, today at 11:30, I'll be back in the Zoom room for a connection, and a special thank you to both Linda Hart and Cheryl Roby, who for the past 2 weeks, while I've been doing other things, have facilitated that group. And I'll be back in the room this morning at about 11:30. So I'll see you then. Please join me in today's dedication. And our dedication today is moving into 2021 with faith, with hope, and with love. And may this light and this tone spark in us a divine energy that turns our words into purposeful action. And our reading today is a New Year prayer from Dr. Jill Biden, which I found on social media a few days ago and absolutely think it's perfect for what we do here at Unity of Stewart. And here's the affirmation. With hope, I reach toward the light. At the stroke of midnight in the midwinter cold, the new year begins in darkness. When the morning breaks, the world will appear unchanged, gray, and still, with long months of short days yet to come. Still, it is new. All around us is a slow resurrection, not the turn of the calendar page, but the stir of seeds sheltered deep in the earth, waiting to climb to the warmth of spring. We move forward with faith to the hoped for but unseen. Let this be a year of healing as we come together stronger, a new understanding of what it means to be whole. Let this be a year of mercy, forgiving our failures, seeing strength in our scars. Let this be a year of clarity, finding harmony in our differences and unity in our purpose. Let this be a year of courage. Let us dare to pour out our cups of kindness, asking nothing in return. Let this be a year of remembrance, reflection, reunion, and restoration. Let this be a year of illumination, of switches flipped in long, empty classrooms and office buildings, of candles burning at overcrowded dinner tables, of fireworks painting the sky in celebration. In this dark beginning, we reach toward the light. And I invite you into a deep breath and a settling in and settling down. And I invite you to join me in opening your heart and your mind to the blessings of this new year. With faith and hope that all the crooked paths are made straight, that we raise each other up in remembrance, in reflection, in reunion, and in unity. I pray this in the name, in the nature, in the light, and in the love of the indwelling Christ consciousness. And so it is. Amen. Let's affirm our affirmation together. With faith, I reach toward the light. And let's take a deep breath as we affirm one more time together. With faith, I reach toward the light. And so it is. Amen. And as we prepare for prayerful meditation, let's sing Be Still.
You will hear the voice.
And I invite you into another deep breath as we move into a time of prayerful meditation, relaxing where you are. And I invite you to take at least 3 deep breaths at your own pace, dropping your shoulders as the invitation to relax, release any tension that you might be holding in your body, whether it might be in your shoulders, your neck, your legs, your hands. I invite you to seek out those places where you are holding tension and consciously release that tension. And as you allow your breath to come back to its natural rhythm, I invite you to be here now in this time, in this holy space. And I invite you to allow the words you hear to become the words of your own mind and heart this morning. As we open our hearts and our minds to the activity of spirit right here and right now. I open my heart and I consider the sacredness of every single moment in my life. Declaring that each moment is holy, I look at my life with wonder and amazement. I keep this awareness alive in every moment. I keep it alive even as things are going wonderfully well and as I face challenges. Knowing that each part of my life is infused with divine energy, I feel renewed wonder in all my activities. Wonder fills me as I behold the divine in every person, all situations, and each precious moment. I embrace wonder in the quiet. And keeping our awareness into this sacred space, I invite you to bring into your awareness all those who are on our prayer list here at Unity of Stewart, and all those that are in our minds and hearts this morning. And I invite you to whisper their names into your holy space, lifting each one up in faith, hope, and love. And releasing our prayers into the care and keeping of the One. We pray this in the name, in the nature, in the light, and in the love of the indwelling Christ consciousness. And so it is. Amen. And our special music, as I said earlier, features Doreen Pariba singing Get Together.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Love is but a song we sing, fear's the way we die. You can make the mountains ring, make the angels cry. Know the bird is on the wing, you need not know why. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Some may come and some may go, we shall surely pass. When the one that left us here returns for us at last, we are but a moment's sunlight fading in the grass. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. I say, come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. If you hear the song I sing, you will understand. Listen, you hold the key to love and fear, all in your trembling hand. Just one key unlocks them both, it's there for your command. Everyone at home now, come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. I say, come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. One more time now. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Right now. Right now.
Thank you, Doreen and Don and Donna and Chuck. Come on, let's get together. We have to love one another right now. No truer words were ever sung, I think. And yet, have you ever stopped and wondered, how did we get here? How did we get to this place in our world? What happened to our country? Not that we were ever perfect or even close. We've always been a work in progress. But I remember when it felt like we were making progress, or at least striving to co-create a more perfect union. And yes, I do have hope, I do have faith that in this coming year that the crooked paths will be made straight and that we will all be healthy and whole, abundantly prospered in all things. And yet, reading See No Stranger, this book, a memoir and manifesto of revolutionary love by Valerie Kaur, I'm reminded that our culture seems to have developed into a culture of separation and fear. So over the next few weeks, guided by the personal experiences and spiritual insights of renowned Sikh activist, filmmaker, and civil rights lawyer Valerie Kaur, we'll engage the call to show up to the labor of embracing, practicing, and being love. Not the emotion. I'm not talking about that feeling we get when we fall in love, but the ethic that has anchored nonviolent movements throughout history. Here's Valerie Kaur speaking of this love. Powerful stuff from the book. If love is sweet labor, it can be taught, modeled, and practiced, engaging all our emotions. Joy being the gift of love, grief being the price of love, anger protecting that which is loved. And when we think we have reached our limit, wonder is the act that returns us to love. Revolutionary love, according to Kaur, is the choice to enter into wonder and labor for others, for our opponents, and for ourselves in order to transform the world around us. You know, many of us, many people I've talked to, sometimes myself, feel like we have reached the limit of this year, actually, of last year. How much more can we handle? How much more can we take to see our world in so much unrest? And yet we are called, this is the call, to choose to continue to do this work of loving beyond reason. This love, this process is not a formal code or a prescription, but an orientation to life that is personal and political and rooted in our love and joy for each other and for the planet. She says, moreover, it is a force for justice that can only be practiced in community. She says, revolutions don't happen only in grand public moments, but in small pockets of people coming together to inhabit a new way of being. We birth the beloved community by becoming the beloved community, which is a process, a journey, that we, the community of unity of Stewart, can relate to, I'm sure. Kaur tells the story in the book of how she discovered the practices of revolutionary love in a tumultuous journey of awakening, beginning in that moment so many of us have experienced, when we wonder how to breathe through the world we're in and how to push to transform it. Kaur was pregnant when she wrote this book, and she uses a birthing metaphor that compares the darkness we're now experiencing to the womb, and the work of revolutionary love to the necessary and long labor needed to birth a new nation. She begins with a focus on learning to love one another, hence, see no stranger, saying, when we wonder about people, grieve with them, and choose to fight with and for them, we can build the kind of solidarity the world needs. She talks about wonder, about grief, and about fighting with and for each other. And she emphasizes that individual acts of love are not enough. We need to be part of a larger movement to create the change that we want to see in the world. So we begin today with wonder. Kaur writes of her grandfather who left India to escape religious persecution and immigrated to Clovis, California. Kaur grew up on the 40-acre farm that her family had lived on and worked for almost a century, receiving the foundation of her Sikh faith through his stories and lessons. Her favorite story is the Sikh origin story of Guru Nanak. Let me bring that up so you can see what that looks like. Guru Nanak. He was the first teacher of the Sikh tradition, and the story explains her faith and guiding principles. Here's a summary of that story. 5 centuries ago, in a village in Punjab on the Indian subcontinent, there lived a young man named Nanak. He was deeply troubled by the violence between Hindus and Muslims around him. One day, he disappeared on the bank of the river for 3 days. People thought he had drowned. But Nanak emerged on the 3rd day with a vision of oneness, the oneness of humanity and of the world. This vision threw him, she writes, into a state of ecstatic wonder, and he began singing songs of devotion called shabads. Let me bring that one up for you. Shabads, praising the divine within him and around him. In other words, he was in love. And love made him see with new eyes. This is what he came out with. Everyone around him was a part of him that he did not yet know. I see no stranger, said the Guru. I see no enemy. He said separateness is an illusion. And when we quiet the chatter in our heads, through music, meditation, or recitation, or song, the boundaries begin to disappear. Perhaps that seems familiar to Unity students and to those of us who have a meditation practice. That when we sit in the quiet, in connection, in communion with Spirit, boundaries begin to disappear. And for a moment, we taste the truth that we are part of one another. Joy rushes in. Long after the moment passes, we can choose to remember the truth of our interconnectedness, that we belong to one another. In other words, we can choose to see no stranger. Awe and wonder are foundational practices of Sikhism, often practiced by reciting shabads, which are kind of like affirmations that we do in Unity. Valerie describes her grandfather humming the shabads night and day as he went about his work. Not so much as praying, she says, but as practicing constant communion with Spirit, his way of remembering the truth, rehearsing his wonder. Here's a shabad. Wondrous are the forms, wondrous are the colors, wondrous are the beings who wander around unclothed. Wondrous is the wind, wondrous is the water, wondrous is the fire which works wonders. Beholding these wonders, I am wonderstruck. Valerie's grandfather cultivated that same wonder in her, calling her and her brother to look at the hose and the rainbows the water makes when sprayed into the sunlight. She remembers learning lessons about the solar systems with pictures drawn on a chalkboard. As her grandfather exclaimed, the sun's light takes exactly 8 minutes and 20 seconds to reach us. And the light of faraway stars reaches us long after they have died. Wonder is our birthright, she explains. If we are safe and nurtured enough to develop our capacity to wonder, we start to wonder about the people in our lives too. Their thoughts and experiences, their pain and joy, their wants and needs. Sensing that they are as vast and complex as we are. In other words, we see them as our equal. We are gaining information about how to love them. Wonder is the wellspring of love. Of course, it's easy to wonder about the people closest to us. Though I'm absolutely sure we could improve even our closest relationships with a little bit of wonder. I sometimes advise people who come to see me with some issues in their family or with a partner, with their children. I advise sometimes to try seeing their families as if they, the person coming to see me, were an anthropologist, and looking with wonder upon this collection of human beings to see what motivates them and to witness their behavior without judgment. And perhaps it's more difficult to wonder about strangers, especially those who appear different than us. But when we choose to wonder about people we don't know, when we imagine their lives and listen for their stories, we begin to expand our circle and bring other people in as part of us. And we prepare ourselves for revolutionary love. You know, this call to love beyond our own flesh and blood is ancient, echoing down to us from indigenous leaders, spiritual teachers, and social reformers throughout history. This is the message that all are trying to give us. The Guru Nanak called us to see no stranger, the Buddha to practice unending compassion, Abraham to open our tent to all, Jesus to love our neighbors, Muhammad to take in the orphan, and Mirabai to love without limit. It is the ancient Sanskrit truth that we can look upon anyone or anything and say, I am that. I am that too. It's the African philosophy Ubuntu, U-B-U-N-T-U, which can be translated to, I am because you are. In other words, we belong to each other. Each of these spiritual leaders expanded the circle of who counts as one of us, as one of me, and which means everyone. Everyone is worthy of our care and concern. You know, this has also been verified by science. We are all indivisibly part of one another. We are all made out of stardust. We are all brothers and sisters, siblings. Wonder is where love begins, but the failure of wonder is the beginning of violence. Once we stop wondering about others, we stop seeing them as part of ourselves. We stop seeing their humanity, which disables our capacity for empathy. You know, our minds are primed to see the world as us and them. Whenever we look upon another's face, our mind discerns in an instant whether or not they are one of us, part of our family, community, country, or one of them. You know, many of us explored this process of disabling our othering last year in our 2 book studies that we spent a lot of the year immersed in. The first book we studied was So You Want to Talk About Race? And the second book we studied was How to Be an Anti-Racist. We were called to examine how we see us, how we see ourselves as complex individuals, but them as simplified, a one-dimensional collective, to grouping people of the same skin color or of the same religion and put them all in one bucket as an other different than us. And we began in these book studies to dismantle our biases, to first recognize them and then to dismantle them. And then our behaviors changed. And I say this for myself and I say it for the others because we shared a lot about how this work was moving in and through us, even though sometimes we were not happy about what we found lurking inside of our own minds. But it changed our behavior. It changed our way of speaking. It changed the way we hold people who don't look like us or act like us. We were willing to wonder about rather than simply judge. We've been discovering that in order to counter this us and them, this knee-jerk habit of mind that we have to be willing to wonder, not only about others, but ourselves. How did we come to perceive in this way? What are the social, cultural, historical, religious, familial stories and experiences that have shaped our perspectives? This is good, deep work that we are all called to do. I mean, we've been called to do it for forever, but we are especially called to do it right now when there seems to be so much separation. And in doing that work, we then have to become willing to choose between the beliefs and stories that we want to keep and the beliefs and stories that we want to release. My colleague, the late Rory Elder, Unity Minister, labeled this process life-affirming or life-denying. So we ask ourselves, do we hold life-affirming beliefs, stories, and attitudes, or do we hold life-denying beliefs, stories, and attitudes? Kara says, there are only those beliefs and stories that destroy the world we want and those that create it. There's nothing in the middle, nothing in between. We get to decide, she says, which ones we hold in our hearts. But even as we choose to claim life-affirming beliefs and stories and attitudes, creative healing and inclusive stories and affirmations, we must also be willing to labor, to stay awake, to become aware of our life-denying patterns and fears as they arise, and to gently and consciously release them, transform them with love and forgiveness, with grace and with wonder. As Kara reminds us, seeing no stranger is an act of will. When we encounter one another throughout our day, it is not our primal reflex, our first thought that we're responsible for. It's the succession of conscious thoughts that come after that is important. Studies have shown that it can be as simple as wondering, I wonder what this stranger likes to eat for dinner. Just that simple internal question can dissipate our fear and open our hearts. I am that too. I invite you to join me as we continue to train our minds and hearts to open rather than close, to wonder rather than judge. Let's train our minds and hearts to be fierce, imperfect, and life-giving as we choose revolutionary love again and again and again. Let's do this together, yeah? And so it is. Namaste. Oh, I invite you into that breath with me. And before I move on to our celebration of abundance and Thanksgiving, I want to remind you one more time about our book study. And that begins on Thursday, January 7th at noon and 1 at 6:30. Choose one if you would by going to our website at unityofstewart.org/upcoming-events. Register and I'll send you out some information. Come and join us. This is really wonderful work we're going to do together in the coming weeks. And now let us contemplate giving of our gifts, of our tithes, of our love offerings. And you see, those are some places where you can give to Unity of Stewart to make sure we can continue to do this work in the new year. You know, doing this work together and ensuring that we can continue to do this work together is not just good for Unity of Stewart. It doesn't just keep our doors open. It doesn't just pay the people who work here. What it does, it creates an energy that moves out into the world. And as I'm saying that, share this video. Share when it comes up for you, when you see something on your timeline that furthers revolutionary love and togetherness and unity, I invite you to share that. Even if you have a little bit of fear that people on your own timeline will think you're a little off or a little woo-woo, I invite you to share it. All right. Let's continue with our love offering blessing. And give me a second. I seem to not have the first longer prayer. So I will affirm it for all of us. In a universe overflowing with the allness of God, all of the needs of unity of Stewart and those we serve are instantly, constantly, and bountifully met. From every direction, known and unknown, expected and unexpected, our abundant good comes to us now. We are grateful. And our love offering blessing I do have, and let's affirm that together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give and receive always in love. And now please join us in blessing our youth and family ministry program and our kiddos. And let's affirm together the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds me. I am light. The love of God enfolds me. I am love. The power of God protects me. I am power. The presence of God watches over me. I am presence. Wherever I am, God is. I am divine. And now, of course, the peace song.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous hour. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. I think something might have happened with the end of that song, but here we are. Blessings to you. Blessings of hope, love, joy, faith. Complete wholeness in all areas of your life. And join us in the Zoom room in about 13 or 14 minutes. I'll be there so we can chat together. And know that as you go through this week, I'll be holding us all in revolutionary love. Namaste.